the button. Hey, hey.
Whoa.
Wow, I finally see Sabrina's face. Look at that.
I have my new PC set up, so I'm like cool
Gaming,
now.
gaming like a loon. I'll go. There we go. Cool. Hello, all. Welcome. Hear ye, the Tuesday, March 4th meeting of the Norwalk Arts and Cultural Commission. Quick roll call. Brian Casper, Chair. I am here. Obviously, Mark Allen,
I am here.
Nori Gruden,
Here.
Stephen Rust,
Here.
Melissa Matuska,
Here.
Naomi Clark.
Here.
Do we need to call out Kevin too? We might as well. He's here. Kevin Huffman.
Here.
And Brad is also here. He's just in the attendee list, but I know he's on the train, so
Oh.
he might hang
cool.
in there.
All right, so we are recognizing that our other ex officio member, Brad Dancer, is present as well. Excellent. Would you mind pulling up ye old agenda, Sabrina?
Yep. Give me one
Thank you.
second.
Janae was going to try to come. I spoke to her earlier. But she's unavailable, obviously.
Okay, okay. Okay, called order, roll call, acceptance of minutes. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes? And if so, are there any additions or corrections? Wait, was Danny at the meeting?
It was not.
Yeah, that's incorrect.
Well, we'll take him out.
Okay, so that's a change. I'm surprised I didn't catch that before. I saw no issues with this personally. Anyone else? I think even my last name is even spelled throughout correctly.
I checked it this time.
Okay. Do we have a motion to accept these minutes?
I'll motion to accept it with the change of the attendance as noted.
Yes. Thank you. Do we have a second? Bueller.
Yes.
The Molotov
I will second.
I think Stephen got there first. Melissa, sorry. Gotta be quick draw.
Gotta
Second
be
from
quick
Stephen.
draw.
Thank you. Brian Casper vote aye. Mark Allen.
Aye.
Kevin. Oh no, Kevin doesn't vote. Stephen Rust.
Aye.
Naomi Clark. I think you have to abstain.
I abstain.
Yeah. Melissa Matuska
Aye.
and Nori Gruden.
Aye.
Thank you. The ayes carry with one abstention. Public participation. Do we have anyone here from the public?
Let me.
I didn't notice anyone in attendance.
There is not.
Okay. Excellent. Well, not excellent, actually. Wish more people would participate. Okay. Our first order of business, which we are here to vote on, is what I hope is the final draft of the RFQ that we discussed last meeting that I had sent around. No one put any comments on it except for Bob. So I'm going to take that as everybody had no other concerns. I did make some of those minor changes, which really was just the organization of where was it? Wait, go back up 1 second.
I think it was he.
Yeah, artists who are invited to submit blah blah blah. Oh no.
Hold on.
It was just a thing about potentially inviting
Yeah.
and removing some of the quantity details, such as 3 murals will be chosen and 3
Yeah.
artists will be offered proposals. So just basically saying a selection of artists or things like that, just removing some of the specificity. Sabrina, did legal add or change or make any major changes to this?
They
after you sent it to
didn't.
them?
They did not. Their response to me and the response to the mayor's office was that sorry, my camera is being weird right now. That this is a document for a guiding policy for the commission itself, and that the commission is allowed to make the call of how they wish to review the essentially proposals that we get in.
Yeah,
So there's nothing that's preventing us from implementing this because it's not going into ordinance or anything. It's just how we're conducting business. And obviously the part where we go into how it would go past this selection process, where it gets the approvals, does align with our current process as we knew it would. And then where legal will come in will obviously be in the contract portion of all of this. So they were all okay with this moving forward as is. And then they would obviously come in the process when they normally do.
okay.
And there's no limitation then on future modifications, assuming everybody's wants to do that?
Yep, if there's any future modifications, we would just have to bring it back and get them amended and approved by the group.
Yeah. Just by internally basically, right?
Yep.
Okay. One thing that I thought of, I just want to make sure that is the rubric still on here, and if so, does it? I think I added something basically saying this is an example rubric and that it could change. I want to make sure that was still on it. Yeah, rubrics,
that's still in there. Yep.
Just because some things call for some of this stuff and some things do not. Okay. Does
Yeah,
anyone else? Sorry.
Right, not to sound stupid, but what is a rubric? Can you define it?
Rubric is basically just our grading system, more or less. It's 100
see.
points. You're scoring based on these particular things, such as an artist's previous portfolio out of 35 points. How do you, as a juror or selection committee, grade, let's say, the artist's previous work out of 35 to total to 100, which then should give us sort of the leading, quote unquote, leading artist or artists in the selection process. It's just because concerns have been brought up about how we are selecting them, and to be fair, that was basically just a feeling, more or less. It wasn't anything very black and white, and again, in the interest of transparency, we're showing people this is sort of how we make some of these determinations.
Cool.
Could you go back to that table, please, for just 1 sec? I'm just curious, what's the weight for local artists?
We put 10 in this, but again, it's going to change based on the project. Like for the Ely Avenue one specifically in the RFQ, which we'll go over later, it specifically says that it has to be a Connecticut or a local artist. So this probably wouldn't even be in here because any artists that aren't local wouldn't even be considered.
And also to be clear, like this little thing here is not something that we're necessarily going to put into calls. We're not necessarily going to use this. This document is just, and you'll see on the Ely Avenue fencing RFQ, it should say, by the way, not RFP. We basically will include a link to this document, so people can see sort of like how we, if they want to dive into it, see how we do make these decisions.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It's just that from the comments that came around, whatever that was, 2-3 months ago, if we can say that the weight of a local artist is X percentage, right? I think it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
makes a world of sense.
it depends on the project, but I think we always should have something that we're going to give preference. Basically we're creating a target, right? Let's call Norwalk artist the bullseye, and each subsequent ring.
Yeah.
We just go, when we don't satisfy that requirement, we move to the next ring. Fairfield County, move to the next ring. Connecticut, we move to the next ring. East Coast, whatever it may be, depending on the project. For example, the Ely Avenue fencing, we are saying it is open only to Connecticut residents. And then preference given to Fairfield County and Norwalk artists or artists with ties to this place. So yeah, I think it does depend project by project, but I think we should almost always have something like that that to define some of that.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Sounds
Yeah.
great.
Any other concerns about this? Questions, anything? Okay.
And can you just go to the part where it talks about the public voting?
Oh yeah. I don't think I think after we had that conversation last time, we basically left it as is. Sabrina, I think it's up in,
Think
yeah, here,
it,
selection of finalists. And then next, public engagement, just down a little bit, number 5 there.
there we go.
So we basically left this as is. The top proposals are presented to the public for review through an online survey hosted on the city's website. Survey will allow residents to provide feedback on each design and indicate their preferred design. The design selected based on public input will be brought forward for approval to the Economic and Community Development Committee of the Common Council. Upon committee approval, it will move to full Common Council for final approval. You know, again, when
So we're
it
not-
gets,
We're not doing the online vote where the public chooses the final piece.
yeah, I mean, it kind of still is that. But everything that comes before this is our opportunity as the commission and whoever may be involved in the project to whittle this down to three, or how, sorry, we don't specify how many, a number of final works, you know, that we as a commission all feel comfortable in presenting to the public as options that we would all be basically happy with in one way or another.
Mhm.
And number 4 there says that finalists have an opportunity to edit their proposals based on feedback from us. They may not, you know. I think this happened on the Monroe Street underpass. You know, we sort of said to the artists that I can't remember their names, but they had the wild pattern proposal, and we sort of said, this is really energetic and pretty bold for us. You know, we want to give you an opportunity to change it. And they said they wanted to stick with it. This is the piece they wanted to make.
Fair
And
enough.
therefore, because of that, basically because of that reason, they lost out. Which we can also, after all that, we can then just do, you know, 2 proposals or whatever it is. We are the ones who are going to decide to present to the public.
Yeah, that was my only thought. I should have put it in an email, but basically was that when you bring it to the public and there is no clear majority winner, you know, let's say it's roughly 50, that then the chairman or the Arts Commission has the final say at that point, you know. That's the only thing I would say.
Yeah, in the case of a tie, the Arts Commission will vote to break the tie.
Yeah, however that works, but yeah.
I would say, I would add in that language as an amendment and approve this as amended with that language added.
I think that sounds like a good idea to me. Does anyone else have an opposition to that? Or a better way to say it, or a better idea? Okay. In that case, do we have a motion to approve this with the amendment we just mentioned?
I will motion for it to be approved as
Thank you.
noted.
Thank you, Mark. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Steve. Brian Casper, I vote aye. Mark Allen,
Aye.
Nori Gruden,
Aye.
Stephen Rust,
Aye.
Naomi Clark,
Aye.
and Melissa Matuska.
Aye.
The ayes carry unanimously. Excellent. I'm excited to have this as a black and white, you know, guiding light for everything we're doing moving forward in terms of selecting artists. With that said,
Do we want
we
to publicize this new document in any respect?
what do you think, Sabrina? Just kind of toss it out there into the world.
Yeah. We can do that.
So moving on, we are finally getting to the point where we are going to release an RFQ for the Ely Avenue fencing, which has been sort of in the works for a long time. Everyone should be familiar with this project by now. And does anyone have, I guess, first and foremost, concerns, issues with this RFQ? I will say there are a couple bits of that was not updated, Sabrina. There are a couple pieces of language here that are conflicting that I did update in our sort of master file.
I think I only found it here as I
at the top.
reread this.
At the top, it also says request for proposals RFQ. It should just say request for qualifications RFQ. And then in that first line, it says community-based art organization to submit proposals. It should submit qualifications.
All right, I'll go back and fix it.
So to be clear, this is not asking for people to submit design. Remember, we as a commission, we pay artists. We do not ask for free work. This is asking for artists, artist teams, community-based art organizations to submit qualifications to carry this project out. With, obviously the bullet points of the project. Does anyone have questions about any of this? Concerns, language issues, anything?
I have a question. Just I'm sorry. I feel like confused. For some reason I thought we had chosen an artist for this already.
So, yes, Oksana.
Right.
I
Oksana.
can't remember her last name.
Tanasiv.
Tanasiv. She was originally supposed to be the one on board. There had been concerns about some of the designs she had put forward,
I see.
and ultimately, because of the document we just looked at, we felt it was sort of unfair for us to. Now, of course, as a commission, we can do this. We could just hire Oksana if we wanted to, but because
Right.
of some of the blowback we got from West Avenue, we thought it was in our best interest to release this as an RFQ. We are, of course, going to reach out to Oksana, even if she doesn't reply for the qualifications. We know she's qualified. Reach out to her, as a possible, candidate for this.
Cool.
Again, why we put that language in to invite people.
I agree.
so-
I think that's a great, good move, Brian. I think that's a really smart idea.
And to
Uh,
be completely transparent, she did put a lot of blood,
Yes.
sweat, and tears and got a lot of material background information on what could be installed on the fence from a materials perspective. So we
Mhm.
did compensate her for the work that she's done up to this point. So it's not like she worked with us for 6 months
Good.
and then we just left her. So she did get compensated. So even if she is not chosen for this at the end of the day, she was compensated for what she's done up to this point. So we feel good about it, but we do feel strongly that she definitely will be a candidate in this process for us as well.
Sounds good.
I think the big requirements of this that make it maybe a little bit different than the past two we've done is, one, we are strongly encouraging, I would say, actually requiring artists to do some form of community engagement on this project. We are asking them to, whatever fits within their work. For an example, one of Oksana's original ideas was going to have panels that were shaped like flowers or butterflies, and those would be distributed out to the community to decorate. And then the other one is that we are opening this only to Connecticut residents, with focus on Fairfield County, but even more specifically Norwalk-based artists. And again, the target, opening it up. Steven has his hand up.
Hi, can I share? Is it possible to
Sure.
let me
Yep.
share? Great, thank you. I just want to confirm, I'm pretty sure I've got the right location, but are you
Nope.
No,
you're seeing my drafting?
Yes, this
Yeah,
is not the location. Let me let me pull it up really quick.
yeah, this is a chain link fence that basically borders Metro North.
Oh, okay, thanks. That's what I
Kinda
thought.
down
That's what I was
MLK
just looking
corridor
at. It's weird.
kind of area.
Mhm. Do. I got this down pat now.
Yeah, you know exactly what address.
Yeah, let me just drop my little guy really quick. All right, here we go. Share. All right, so it starts. Sorry, it starts here. So this is the beginning at the corner of Ely and Franklin. So we're having DPW cut all of this back.
So it's the stone wall itself, right?
No, it's the fencing.
Chain link.
Fence.
I see.
Yeah, and then it'll go all the way down.
that's
It'll
great.
obviously skip this
No.
entrance.
It'll be,
And
if
then-
anything will be an improvement from what's there now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then it'll stop right here at the corner of Ely, and I believe this is Low.
Hmm.
Yes. So this whole
Yep.
chain link fence here.
That looks more familiar. Thank you.
No
That's great.
problem. And it's about 450 feet long. And depending on the height of the rock wall, it's between 6 and 8 feet tall along that. So
Does anyone have any? What's come up with one?
My only thoughts are that, well, it's good that we are limiting it to Connecticut artists. And giving preference maybe to local artists. I think that given the fact that, this neighborhood is like right in the middle of, our arts and cultural district. And I think that we should give even more preference for artists from that local community, because I think
Sure.
that speak to the
Agree.
community engagement.
I think once we get to the actual proposal portion of this, that we, in the rubric, we would put in that the
Yeah.
more hyper local that this person is, the
Mhm.
more points on the rubric they would get, especially because I think artists that are specifically from this neighborhood are going to be more in tune with what should be installed and how to get the community that's physically in the area involved in the
Right.
process, which is what we want.
Mm.
I agree. Steven has I'm sorry, Kevin has his hand up.
Yeah, I just wondered if there's any social capital or anything like that that's associated with this project, that if in the sort of course of, presenting the art, it also serves another purpose to, I don't know if it's like to reduce crime or to, if there's any other kind of social issues that are facing that area that we would want the art to affect or have some kind of behavioral kind of, I know that's a scary word, but impact on, on the citizens there? Or is it just for dressing up that area,
Mhm.
which I know art does more than that? Just
Well, that's something we
curious.
can certainly get into. I mean, right now we're just really looking for qualified artists and artist teams. But I agree that, these are all these sort of finer details of what we are hoping to have installed there will be communicated to, the chosen parties who we will open for proposals. That's a good point, though. Melissa had her hand up next.
Yes, and I also feel like we could add in the rubric, what's the message, and score it that way. Sabrina, I have a question for you as far as that location.
Mhm.
When you turn around in that intersection, there is a strip of thank you. You're doing a great job there. Before you go under the underpass at the very end, yes, I'm looking straight at it right there. Is the city doing something about that? That has been the same for 5 years.
So it has been reported as a blighted property and the property owner has been fined multiple times, and that's where it ends.
Okay, I just didn't know if when we're putting something like that up, giving art and making it real nice, if that was just something we were considering as far as making sure this is cleaned up, that they were notified. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Of course.
Nora had her hand up next.
Yes, I was wondering what the fence is bordering on the other side. Is it an empty lot?
It's train tracks.
It's train
Or
tracks.
just train tracks? So no one will actually be, because I was thinking if it's gonna be towards the street, if anybody was gonna be looking at the other side of it.
Nope.
For train tracks, it's not necessary. Unless we put something there that's anti-graffiti, because somebody can always graffiti the other side of whatever's the murals.
Yeah. Faces the train. They can graffiti it all they want.
Mhm.
Hang on a second. Riding that train coming in, that's a good opportunity, actually.
mean, Believe me, it's been on my LTP's long-term projects to get all the backs of all the buildings that face the train station basically painted with something. But it's obviously we have bigger priorities. But I agree with you, Stephen. We should be focusing on the passengers on the train. But that's obviously a harder thing to get money for. So we're starting on our citizens first.
It's
Yeah,
all,
no, that's a good way to put it, but I just wonder if, could it be that it's double-sided somehow, or I'm not sure what the art will be, but could it work from both sides?
I mean,
Yeah.
if somebody wants to propose that, we could
Right.
definitely be open to it for sure.
Right.
I think that's something we can include in the proposal piece, that that's, something that we would encourage. It's just that whoever is proposing would have to propose that and then stay within the budget constraints.
Mhm.
Sure.
Yeah, I think Brian's glorious idea, unfortunately, anything that's on that opposite side of the fence, it becomes a huge liability, which is
Yeah.
why we can't touch it, which is why we're putting up a piece of artwork that's gonna shield it, because we can't get in there to clean. So it just, it's kind of just where we're at, but I think your
Mhm.
point is valid. I think we can give people the option to submit proposals for that. They'll just be constrained by price.
Sure. Okay, thanks.
Any other questions or comments about this request?
I just had one question. Is this limited to painted materials?
No, well, right now we're just saying what it is and what we're hoping to achieve. And again, looking to just get people to submit their qualifications that they can tackle this. We just say weather resistant paint and materials suitable for outdoor installation is all we say. We just say
Got it.
materials. It doesn't say paint. Or it doesn't say specifically paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it could be anything. Obviously, the fence needs to be able to support it and all those sort of things. We do mention it's a chain link fence and all these things. So my hope is
Yeah.
that, someone who sculpts in Core-10 steel isn't necessarily going to be submitting a proposal.
Yeah, this might not be right for this project. Can I show you something on my screen?
Sure.
This is one I saw in Puerto Rico. It was just a fabric design that I
Mhm.
saw throughout their arts district. I thought it was really, really neat. I don't know, that might not be right for this immense
Yeah.
size project, but this could be a really cool thing for a local neighborhood project.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen weaving. People do weaving in chain link fences too, which is really dynamic. But we also need something that's going to be pretty hard wearing and not, get whipped around by the wind and fall apart too.
True that.
But nonetheless, any other questions, comments about this RFQ?
Sorry, half joking, half not. What about the vines?
I think
Mm,
the main part of this is to shield. The vines will not shield. Like, we don't want people to see
Okay.
the trash that's stacked
Yeah.
back there. Which is why we wanted to, which is why
And-
we got the funding to do this, was to,
and community engagement.
Shield the
We have to have
trash.
that piece.
Yep,
yeah.
makes sense.
The vines
Okay.
are long.
Sticking the vines there doesn't really engage the community.
Okay.
Others?
All right.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve this?
Melissa has a motion, makes a motion.
Thank you. Have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mark. All right, Brian Casper, I vote aye. Mark Allen,
Aye.
Melissa Matuska,
Aye.
Stephen Rust,
Aye.
Nori Gruden,
Aye.
and Naomi Clark.
Aye.
Excellent. The ayes carry. I'm excited to see this project finally come into fruition. We've been chipping away at it for a while and also kind of dangling it as a possible community project for a while. So it's good to see it happen. Okay. Next up is the approving the expenditure for the open mic night with that we were doing with Factory Underground. We talked about this a little bit last meeting with Janae, who's kind of running it, but hello, my intern is here. Lap time is not appropriate right now, buddy. Thank you.
So I
Mark, do you
can,
want to? Oh, sorry. Mace,
I can
Brina.
take it because I can pull up my screen for what Janae has sent because she couldn't be here. So I'll give you the background really quickly. So there's 2 events. There's going to be one poetry slam event for National Poetry Month, which we're looking at April dates. We're solidifying that soon, probably within the next week. So you'll hear that. But we wanted to get the funding solidified now, just in case we need to start making some payments ahead of the date. So let me share my screen for the expenditures on that. Here we go. The plan was to feature and honor the poet laureate, but also have poets perform, and obviously have, you know, anyone come and be able to participate in the poetry slam, sort of like an open mic, but for poetry specifically. We also wanted to see if we can get some visual artists to create some visual arts at that event as well, while the poets are performing, to have kind of a hodgepodge of an artist type of event. So our team over at the business development and tourism side will be kicking in marketing and promotion. We'll also do some paid advertisement around that, since we already have funding associated with that through our budget that would be separate from this. For the visual artists, we would be able to kick in that from the city side as well. So if there's anybody who you have that you would like to put forward for something like that, we would happily want to do that. And then we have the bites and drinks, which is going to probably be around $200. This event is probably going to be half of the size of the networking event that we did. So we're looking at $450, $500 for expenses. The last event that we did for the networking event, that was around $1,000 of a spend. So we're, you know, guesstimating here, but we're probably looking at under $500 for the poetry slam event. For the open mic night, we're partnering again with Factory Underground. They host one every third Wednesday of the month. Sorry. It's mostly heavily performing artists, mostly music singers, obviously. Again, we'll do the marketing and promotion on our side. Through the business development and tourism accounts. The sponsor for the special edition would be the videographer, which we'd be able to keep that content, which is great since we don't have a lot of it that's focused on arts and cultural related events. And obviously the snacks and drinks side of the house. Again, smaller event, we're probably looking at only $350, $400. So that's where that ask is coming from. So all in all, the total ask is going to be under the $1,000. So we just wanted to come in and request that amount.
I would encourage us to maybe just bump or put a line item for materials for the visual artist, maybe just an extra $50 or something. I feel like we have a little bit of money in the budget. and we
Yeah,
can-
that's why I put the amount not to exceed 1,000, is because I know
Oh,
things
okay.
are just I know things are just going to come up, even with the
Mhm.
networking event. Like, things just came up, and I
Yeah.
just wanted us to have that flexibility. We have the money in the accounts, and we have to spend
Okay.
it by July anyway. So it's like, I'd rather have the approved excess for some flexibility in there if we need
Okay.
it, rather than not have it.
So this event actually, it started originally with me, and the was the event that I wanted to throw here at Factory. It kind of got a little away from me when my coworkers started getting involved in planning it before we had a date confirmed, and so I was not a part of the decision on the visual artist. Although if it helps the Arts Commission get on board, then I'm obviously all for it. But I just want to let you know that I am the person who's spearheading that here. So I just want to be just upfront about that. So I'm a part of this planning going forward. And that said, I think everything that we're hearing is great. The only thing I want to let you know is that we are also planning to record that event for kind of a variation on the Oysterville poetry album that we had done, that the Arts Commission was a part of doing under the Poet Laureate when it was Laurel. So that will be sort of like what we do on this one. It'll be like a live poetry record that gets released. We're not looking for any funding for that, but just to let you know that that is happening. And we are also planning to capture video on that night as well. So not looking for any money for that, but we will make that content available to you guys. I mean, to the Arts Commission in general, just to let you know.
That's great. Thank you.
As far as the
Okay.
vote, I don't know if I need to abstain from that. I would assume.
I mean, you're not making money off of it, right?
No, we're definitely not.
Then no, then you don't need to abstain. It's not a conflict there. Do we have well, first of all, do we have any other questions or concerns about this before Kevin?
Yeah, is this a paid event, like where people actually have to pay to get in, and the
Mhm.
money is
Nope.
this free?
Everything's free.
Event open to the public. We're gonna try to, I mean, it's not gonna be an open mic in a sense that anybody could get up. We are gonna, basically Laurel and Bill Hayden, the former poet laureate, and the new poet laureate are gonna, they're all part of this Norwalk poetry community. So we're gonna, try to curate a list of poets that are invited to perform, recite, I should say, not perform.
And we always try to, we have the clover on hand to take donations and sort of pass the hat around, as it were. Which, I don't know if that starts to conflict with, maybe share it with the poets or something, but we're not looking
It wouldn't be,
to make
it
money
wouldn't be
off of this.
Factory Underground to be collecting money in that sense.
But for
No.
things like this, do you collect email addresses, or people sign up?
Yeah.
Is there any sort of
Yes.
list that the city
Yes.
has that basically, like, okay, we know you've come to these kinds of events, you're now on our list?
Yeah, we're trying to build that. The networking event was really the first big one that we did. We also had the artist talk, and we've been slowly chipping away at collecting it, having a decent list, and something like a newsletter has been sort of long on our peripheral agendas. I don't want to speak for Melissa, but I think she had kind of half said that she'd be interested in helping with it. But yes, I agree that we should be there should be something so we can continue to tell people we're doing these things, and then as they sort of graduate into bigger and more expensive, let's say, events, we can potentially start to charge for them and kind of pay for themselves.
Yes,
and that's
and
one of
we've been really good lately with any event that we have an Eventbrite associated with it, even if it's free, so that we do automatically collect those, so people aren't scanning a QR code at the event, or they're not writing something down at the event. We're just, checking their quote unquote ticket, even though it's a free ticket, but we've already collected all their emails. So we already have that ahead of time.
Mhm.
So are you looking for the Arts Commission to be an Arts Commission specific event? Are you open to collaborating? I mean, I was hoping to get the public library, since they're part of the laureate
Mhm.
program, to collaborate on this event.
Of course, I think we're always
see no
down to
conflict
partner,
there.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. The more the merrier. Nori has her hand up.
Yes. Well, one of the things Mark kind of answered, because I was wondering if the library was going to be involved, because the last time we had the two poet laureates, they were very involved in it. The other thing is the capacity for the Factory Underground is how many people can actually go there to watch it if they wanted to.
How many people can we fit?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sizable down there.
Yeah, we don't know if we're gonna do it we think we're gonna do it on the second floor where the open mic
Oh.
is. It's a little more intimate, probably 100 people, I would guess. Think of this as like the Gaslight Grill in the 60s, sort of rather than a little bit more intimate and,
Yeah.
and vibey, I mean,
That's-
than a show on stage with lights and, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. And with the Eventbrite, would you charge like, I don't know, $2-3 so nobody would, just sign up and not go if there's limited capacity, or you don't think that's going to be an issue?
I don't think it's going to be an issue, but I also don't want to charge, because to me, this is a community event.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I don't, I think opening it up to, opening up to the poetry community and to the general public, I mean, the people that, like Katie runs an open mic for poetry that, you know, and this is sort of, it's kind of like embracing that community and elevating it, you know. But in involvement with the Arts and Cultural Commission, I don't really see it as a moneymaker from my experience.
I agree. And I think the reason we're contributing to is because it's something that's open to the public and free.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the idea because we're getting back to like, it's kind of like the lit crawl, but in a more intimate setting. It sounds like.
Well, look,
Exactly.
if you had 200 people respond, you could always move it to a bigger venue, but this is
Take it
poetry.
outside.
Yeah, I mean, poetry is popular, but it's, you know, if we had 100 people there, I'd be ecstatic.
I think it'll be a nice thing to do, you know, art's wonderful, you know, the visual art is wonderful, but it's nice to do the poetry. And if they do the artwork while they're reading, you know, I forget what the word is, that'll be really nice as well.
Yeah.
There's a style of poetry called, I learned this from Bill Hayden, it's called ecclesiastic, where a poet is reciting poetry in response to visual art. So this is almost like the opposite of that. You can have the connection between visual art and poetry, where the artist is almost like in response to the poetry. It's definitely an interesting, you know, collaboration, let's say.
All right. Do we, what did I just do to my screen? Do we have, before we, you know, make a motion here, does anyone else have any outlying concerns about, you know, this, what amounts to be a pretty insignificant amount of money to do a community event? Sorry, I don't mean to, that's mean of me to make people feel alienated.
Hey, Brian, give us $20,000 then, okay?
All right. You guys
As
want
long as it-
$20,000
have
poetry event?
20,000.
This better
As long
be
as
a
it doesn't
damn good
exceed
poetry event.
1,000, you can have 20,000.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, if there's no other comments, do we have a motion to approve this amount?
So Melissa, I have a motion to approve $1,000.
Thank you, Melissa. Do you have a second?
Yeah, Steve Rust, I'll second.
Thank you, Stephen. Brian Casper, I vote aye. Stephen Rust,
Aye.
Mark Allen.
Wait, did you say you're voting on $1,000?
That's what I said, yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Then I vote aye.
thank you. Melissa Matuska.
Aye.
Thank you, Nori Cruden.
Aye.
Thank you, Naomi Clark.
Aye.
Perfect. The ayes carry. I look forward to keeping these events moving. It's much needed. It's good for connecting, good for community, good for getting people aware of the things that we do and support. So, only last, well, two things really, I guess, but budget review. Sabrina, anything of note or changes you want to share?
Nothing of note. Everything in capital is the same. We did have an outstanding bill for a scissor lift for the mural for when we were cleaning that I have to pay
Oh, really?
for $1,200. So this number will be, the 1,300 will go down, but it's significant.
Okay.
Operating, we'll have the 1,000 come out over here of other professional services. So yeah, no big changes over there. I did say, I don't think it was on the record, but our budgets are getting approved as of right now. We requested $20,000 in the operating budget for special events for the commission for the upcoming year so that we can host monthly events going forward and more community driven events or networking events for the arts and cultural community. So that has made it in the CFO's recommended budget and the mayor's recommended budget. So we go to BET tomorrow night. the rest of the departments and commissions under economic and community development had very small or insignificant increases. So the fact that it's in there is great, and we hope to see it through to the end. We'll know more about the capital requests when it comes to our April meeting, because that's when we'll have kind of the final budget. But as of right now, it looks like we have a good amount of that money still in the capital budget request moving forward as well. So that's the only updates on those fronts.
That's great. I'm happy to hear that. Okay, last but not least, any member updates? Anyone have anything to share? Okay,
This is
right
Melissa.
on.
I can tell you that Rowayton Elementary is working on a proposal for their traffic graphic box. So once I have the artwork finalized, then I will present it. But I do want to also, if we can next month, if we can put a proposal together, or ask for paint, because I think we already decide we were going to purchase paint? I don't remember.
Yes.
Can you remind
Yes,
me?
we did. We approved
It was
that.
already passed.
yeah.
Great. Cool. Well, as soon as I have the artwork, I'll let you know.
Great. We've got about 60 gallons of
Salmon.
pink salmon color downstairs and Fort Belton, and light yellow. Okay.
Very
Is there a
nice.
motion to adjourn?
Oh, sorry. Could I just say two things?
Yeah, go ahead, Stephen.
I don't know if anyone else was there. I saw Sabrina, but what was it, last weekend? Was it Saturday night, Friday night?
Friday night.
That was a really great event, Sabrina, and I'm hoping we can do more of that. Let me know if I can help, but that was really terrific. It's called A Journey, a musical one-woman show, Kimberly
Oh, yeah.
Wilson. It was
couldn't make
really,
it.
really
was
good.
that?
And I think I learned more in that hour than I've learned in my life. It was
Where
great.
was that?
It was at Norwalk, what do we call it? Concert hall.
Yep, it was in City Hall.
It's really good, really good. And tomorrow night, there's a forum on the Manresa project,
Yes.
and I'm going. I hope I can make it. Just I don't know if anybody else needs a link or anything like that. We can get it out there for others to join.
Stephen, I think that is an RSVP beforehand of it.
Yeah, I have done that. Does it have to?
I'm saying you're saying, yeah, I'm just reminding you if anyone else wants to go, you do have to
Yeah.
RSVP in advance.
It's a
I see.
Brian McMahon.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
No, that should be interesting. Okay, thanks. I'll motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Stephen. Do we have a second?
So Melissa, I say
Thank you, Melissa. Brent Kessler. I vote aye. Mark Allen.
Nay.
Always. Melissa Matuska.
aye.
Stephen Rust.
Aye.
Naomi Clark.
Hi.
And Nori Gruden.
I,
Right on. Good job, team. See everybody next
Hold
month, if
again.
not before.
yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Good night.